Hi everybody, this is Kevin Purcell for GottaBeMobile.com, and you're looking at the Toshiba Encore 2 Right. This is an update over a previous generation that, quite frankly, wasn't that great a tablet. What they've done is they've sped things up a little bit, but put a better processor in it. It's got a nice screen, and the Right version of this tablet has a Wacom digitizer built in, and so as a result, you get this wonderful stylus. They call it the True Pen Stylus. And with the extremely fine tip on it, you get some very accurate inking with it. You can draw, you can write, and so it's a fairly decent tablet. This comes with an Intel Atom processor with 2 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabytes of storage. The tablet is came out before the new Microsoft Surface tablet. Now, I'm not talking about the Surface Pro that came out last year, the Surface Pro 3, but the Surface tablet itself, the Surface 3. That tablet is also it's about a 10.8, I think, inch screen, and also comes with an Intel Atom processor. But that tablet has a higher resolution screen. It's got a metal construction, whereas this one is really just plastic. So it's going to be easy for people to try to make the comparison between this tablet and the Surface 3. However, the Surface 3 costs more, yet you get more with it. For people who are more budget-minded, I think this is a great option, and we're going to go ahead and show you why. Now, I want to go ahead and show you the ports around the side. We're looking at the tablet along the left side. When you put it in landscape mode with the Toshiba logo down here in the bottom left corner, so you look at this left side over here, and we get a headphone and microphone combo jack. This is one of the 2 stereo speakers. It's got decent sound, but it's a little bit soft. There's a micro SD card slot on it. We had a little bit of trouble with the micro SD card slot. I used to have a SanDisk 32 gigabyte card in here, and it would just, for some strange reason, unmount. It didn't pop out. It would still stay in like this card is, but I looked online and some people have said that cards that are a little bit thinner have trouble in some tablets, and I think that might have been the issue because the SanDisk card measures slightly thinner than this card that I have in here now. It's also got a micro HDMI out port and a micro USB port. Now that's an awful lot of micro, isn't it? What that means is you're going to need adapters. Adapter for the HDMI port, an adapter for the micro USB port, and if you're trying to use a card from a camera, most cameras these days use a regular SD card. What you're going to have to do is plan ahead, use a micro SD card inside an adapter, put that in your camera, and then take it out of the camera, take the card out of the adapter, place it in here if you plan to use this tablet with to view your photos on your point and shoot camera. Now along here on the bottom edge, notice there's not much here. We do get this little slot right here, and the purpose of that is you can connect. There's a little tiny string that comes in the box that you can use to connect your True Pen stylus. It's down here in the corner, which makes it convenient because on the very corner there's a slot that you can slide the clip of the pen into there. That way you can hold on to it. You don't want to lose this thing because the replacements cost $50. And so they give you that connector right there that you can tie it on here and keep it connected. On this side, again, on this side, all we have is the other stereo speaker. Now looking at the top of this, notice that we have the power button. This power button, of course, turns the screen on and off. Notice it wiggles a little bit. That's not a problem, but for some really anal people, that might be annoying. This is a microphone. There's another one over on this side, so it's sort of stereo sound, not really. Then you have the volume up and down button and the start button. It's a little bit annoying that this is on the top. For example, I have a Surface Pro 3 and it's a capacitive button on the side. Some tablets have them on the bottom edge. I don't know, it's a little bit annoying, and quite honestly, I almost never use it. Let's show you the back of it. There's not much here. It's what they call a matte satin gold. It's a slight gold hint. It's hard for you to probably see that because it's so subtle. It almost looks like silver. Again, this is a plastic tablet. If you needed to, you might be able to pry off this back. I have not tried it, don't plan to. And then we get one camera here on the back. It's, I think, a 5 megapixel camera. If you want to see some photo shots, some samples, we'll put them on the review. Over here on the front, there's one front-facing camera, just a 1.2 megapixel camera, designed only for doing some maybe video chat, things like Google Hangouts or Skype. Now let's go ahead and talk about the pen and the inking features. First, the pen. It's got a little cap here that you can take off and cover up your stylus nib. That's a good thing. I dropped it once, and so now there's a slight curve to it. I've tried to bend it back into place, but I'm afraid to do that. But that's a nice thing that a lot of styluses don't come with. The Surface Pen does not. And it fits right here on top, which is also nice to have. You can put this in your pocket, slide it onto a computer bag or a tablet sleeve, and then again, as I said, put it in the little slot down here at the bottom. Now let's talk about the software that comes pre-installed. Of course, it's Windows 8.1. It's a full version of Windows, so you can install regular apps that you would on a desktop or a laptop. It comes with Office 365 Personal, which is a good on one device, plus you can install it on another tablet, for example, an iPad or an Android. And then the program also, or the tablet rather, also comes with a few minor little apps. Like they're basically links to online sites. I don't want to talk about those. I quickly removed the links, and I don't even know what they are, to be honest with you, because they weren't very useful. It's something like a travel app and an online storage app, that kind of thing. There's a video editor, and then there's a video editor, Toshiba Central, which gives you your user guide, some support, some help videos. But then there's these three very interesting apps. One of them is called TrueNote. We'll go ahead and fire it up. It's essentially a OneNote replacement, and to be quite honest with you, I think it's better than OneNote. I really enjoy using it. You'll notice when I draw that I get incredibly fluid motion on my drawing and inking. And tap and hold there, and you get your options for pens. Tap on a color, and there's even more options. Let's bring down the size of this, change the ink color to blue, and let's turn it into a fountain pen. And what we have then, much more attractive. I can't spell today, but if you want, let's erase. It does not erase just individual parts. It erases the entire stroke once it touches it. So I think it's got beautiful inking. Now watch this. I'm going to rest my palm on here and write. It's got great palm rejection, and that's essentially because this app is tuned to work with the pen only. And so, you can touch it and use it to scroll around, but if you just rest your hand on here, it's great. You can also add photos, and that opens up the True Capture app over here. And what the True Capture app, it's primarily designed for capturing images for text. Like if someone hands you a document, you can use it as like a scanner. If you're in a classroom or a boardroom or meeting room and people are writing on a whiteboard, you can capture the whiteboard, and it'll automatically find just the edges of the whiteboard or just the edges of the paper, and it'll just import those. Now again over here, we have the True Capture app and then the True Recorder app. I've already shown you the True Capture app real briefly. Let's look at that True Recorder. This is a fairly decent recording app. I'm going to go ahead and hit the record button. And what happens is when you hit record, it actually started listening to me before I hit the record button. And once I hit the record, it grabbed the 10 seconds before I hit record, added that to the recording, and now it's doing the recording. And then I'll hit stop, and it's going to save the recording. It'll show you over here the waveform of it. Actually, that's live waveform. And then we'll hit play. Now I think I've got the volume turned down. When you hit record, it actually started listening to me before I hit the record button. And once I hit the record, this is a fairly decent recording app. I'm going to go ahead and hit the record button. You see that? See, that's the point where I hit the record button, and notice it grabbed all of that. Now it's 4 seconds at this point because I had just opened it. That's a really great feature for if you're in a meeting or a lecture and you decide, hey, I need to record this. The reason you needed to record it is someone started saying something profound or interesting or important. Once you hit record with a normal recording app, it's going to start the minute you hit record. This one is going to catch that stuff that inspired you to record it. And so if you can do that in about 10 seconds, if you can launch it and then get it going in about 10 seconds, then that's fine. So if you're in, say, another thing, maybe you're typing in a Word document, you hit the slide in, hit the start button, boom, get over here real quick and launch True Record and begin to record. It's going to capture that information. So it's really a nice feature. Now let's talk briefly about the hardware of the tablet itself. Notice it's very fluid here in the start screen. I'm going to go ahead and launch Word and show you how quickly it will launch a regular Windows app. See, it's doing that pretty fast. This is a document that I was working on yesterday for a Bible study I teach at my church on Wednesday nights. Notice it's really fluid. So now we'll go over here to the start and we'll open up this program. It's basically a book reader that I use. And there you go, it's starting to launch. It took a little while. Again, you're running on an Atom processor with only 2 gigabytes of RAM. So the more apps and programs that you have open, the longer it's going to take to get going. But none of these apps that I'm using right now are anything that really taxes the system. And I do have another Bible program. Believe it or not, it's hard to believe a book reader would be really taxing to a computer, but it does. Because of the way the people coded it, it just takes an awful lot of horsepower in order to run it. And it's called Logos Bible Software. And to be honest with you, I tried installing it on this, and first of all, it takes up so much space because it's about 25 gigabytes of storage space. And then second of all, running it just gets so slow. So I just didn't bother. So let's talk about the battery life a little bit here. One of the best ways to do that is take you to the desktop and show you the battery life. See, it says 87%. I've had the tablet on for maybe an hour, I would guess. And so it's taken 13% off the battery. When you notice that in that hour, I have had the screen brightness all the way up. I've had Bluetooth turned on. I've had Wi-Fi turned on, and it's been the screen has been on that entire time. And so you know, that's not too bad. I'm usually averaging. You know, I plug it in overnight, take it off the charge in the morning, throw it in my bag, use it periodically throughout the day. Probably about 6 to 7 hours of usage, and maybe 5 or 6 hours of downtime. And so it's getting me through the day easily. At night, I put it back in charge, and it's got 20 or 30%. I have battery drain tested it and just kept it on all the time, and it was giving me about 7.5 to 8 hours. But like I said, this is with the screen at about 100%. Take it down to about 50%, and you notice it's hard for you to maybe see that on the camera. But notice that it's still fairly bright. And so you can actually run this tablet at 50%. And I'm in a moderately bright room, and it's doing a good job on the battery. Performance is decent. I'm pleased with it, except for those two programs that I mentioned. The hardware itself is, notice how thin it is. It's very light, which I enjoy. Extremely portable feeling. I like using this more than my Surface Pro 3 for tablet features, which is saying a lot because the Surface Pro 3 is a great tablet. All in all, I'm pretty pleased with the Toshiba Encore 2 Right. I would call it a buy. However, I would say that before you plunk down $400 for the 10-inch, they also have an 8-inch tablet that is $350. Before you plunk down the money for that, I would make certain I got a look at a Surface 3. Now that's just now releasing. On certain sites you're still pre-ordering. I've seen one in a Best Buy, which I really like that tablet, and I would be tempted to return this and then spend the extra $100 and pick up that one. However, for now I'm going to hold on to this. I've got another 2 or 3 weeks before I have to make that decision. So I'm pretty pleased with it, and I think most of you will be as well. So let's talk about the pros and cons, summarize it. It's got a beautiful screen. I didn't tell you the resolution of it. It's only 1280 by 800. Despite that fact, it's decent for reading, although it's not as crisp and attractive in looking at text or even images and video as the Surface Pro 3 or probably the Surface 3. The Surface 3 has a higher resolution as well. But the screen overall is a positive and a negative. It's a positive because it's nice and bright and colorful, but it's a negative because of the resolution. The hardware, it's thin and light and feels sturdy. That is for a plastic tablet, of course. I also really like the pen. Is the best feature of it has to be the pen and the inking features and the nice software. It's not bloated with a whole lot of extra software, but yet the software it does have is useful. Some of the negatives, look at how big this bezel is. You could get a bigger screen in this or a smaller tablet if they'd work a little harder on that engineering. Plus it is plastic, and I've already got a couple of scratches and scuff marks on the back of it. I also hate having to have dongles in order to plug in normal devices and hardware. The stereo sound is decent. You're not going to win any awards. Plug in headphones if you really like good sound. This has been Kevin Purcell for GottaBeMobile with the Toshiba Encore 2 Right.